All righty. So that establishes a quorum and we're permitted to go forward. Because the officers that we had at the last meeting have vacated their office and their membership on the Economic Development Authority, we need to, the first order of business is to nominate and to elect officers going forward. Let's see, we've got three offices. We've got the chair, the vice chair, and the secretary treasurer. And the election of those officers will be to fill the unexpired terms of the prior officers. And those terms expire in January of 2021, when we will meet at the annual meeting and elect new officers for one-year terms. We do allow, Virginia Code does allow for the secretary treasurer to be someone from outside the board membership, but in the past we haven't had that designation. The process involves a nomination for an office. There has to be a second. We would close the nominations, discuss, and then vote on each office. We start with the chair, move to the vice chair, and then do the secretary treasurer. If, however, there is a single slate of candidates for the offices and there's no opposition, and we have a consensus to present the slate, then someone can nominate the entire slate. It could be seconded and we can move to close nominations, close discussions, and just move towards an election by acclamation. So by the first thing I would ask is there a slate of officers that we know of? And if so, a desire to proceed with nominating the slate?
I'm not aware of a slate.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm not aware of a slate either.
Okay. All right. So we'll start with the chair. And at this point in time, I will open the floor for nominations.
Well, I'm willing to do it through the end of the year if that would be helpful. I know often these people aren't eager to jump into these roles, so I'm willing to take that on just through the end of the year if nobody else wants to do it. So I just wanted to let everybody know that.
I'll accept that nomination.
All right. So George has nominated Don. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Are there any further nominations? All right. Motion to close nominations and to close discussion.
I move to close nomination.
All right. Second.
I'll second that.
All right. And I
think
guess we get.
I think the record or the motion needs to reflect Don's desire to serve till the end of the year.
That's fair. All right. With no further discussion. We'll just put the matter to a vote. All in favor of Don serving as chair until the annual meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Don, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you.
Do I get to give a speech now?
In fact, you can do whatever you want. All right, so let's move quickly. Vice chair.
I'll volunteer for that till the end of the year if you'll have me.
All right, I'll second, or I'll nominate George since he's willing to take that on.
All right.
And I'll second it.
Any other nominations? All right, let's just move to the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. George, congratulations.
And thank you.
And obviously the most important spot, the secretary treasurer. Someone willing to serve as secretary treasurer until January?
Richie, does it have to be the same person?
It does not have to be. No, it can be. It's just we have in the past, but they can be separate.
I mean, I wonder if it would make sense to have a secretary from the board and then have Cecilia serve as the treasurer. I mean, if that would make sense.
I think there's a certain, it does make sense. I don't know if that's been vetted, so I'm not in a position to be able to volunteer Cecilia to do that.
And I don't know how
It is
Cecilia.
Doug looks like he's unmuted
Well-
himself. He may have comment.
Well, I don't know if in fact that it could be a member other than a member of the EDA itself to serve in that role. But as we all understand, is that the Cecilia and the finance department does do the heavy lifting. So I think that whoever would serve in that role for the remainder of this year, that seems to be the way this is kind of setting up, would have good confidence that they'll be in good hands with Cecilia and other staff. And that'll give us, that'll kind of get us through today, get us through the end of the year, then we kind of look to see if in fact that enabling legislation allows the board to name someone not a member of the EDA to serve in that role.
Okay, that's fine. I just, since she's doing all the work, I thought she could serve in that role. Not to disparage those who have served in that role as treasurer before.
Understand.
Staff is here to help.
Any volunteers?
Even though I don't fully grasp what it would entail working with her, I'd be happy to hold the post temporarily if it didn't entail too much extra work. I'm probably the most likely member unable to make all the meetings, etc. So I don't want to fill that void when I can't properly do so. But I'd be happy to take it on temporarily working with Cecilia.
Well, and I think Jennifer provides significant amount of support in that effort. Is that right, Jennifer?
You're muted.
I said I do assist Cecilia. I'm actually bringing her into the meeting as well.
Hi, everybody. Yes, I think that whoever might take that position does get, significant support with respect to financials for the EDA. We've always made ourselves available for any questions regarding any transaction, regarding income forecasting. We work really closely with the team in the EDO office to make sure that you get the information from a financial standpoint that you need to make the decisions that you are charged with.
Okay, well, Dave, if you're willing to give it a shot, I'll make that nomination.
All right, second. Stuart, did I hear you second that? I thought I did, but
I didn't, but I'd be happy to.
okay. All right, so we'll just move to the election. All in favor of Dave serving as the secretary treasurer?
Aye.
Opposed? Dave, congratulations.
And thank you.
So with the
meeting at 6 a.m. in the morning, Dave.
so with that, now that we have all our officers at this point in time, I can turn the meeting over to the chair, Mr. Long, who can move along with the agenda.
Okay, let me find the agenda. I thought I had opened it up, but I seem to have lost it. Hold on just a second. So
It's posted on the,
Oh, and Jennifer's got it on the screen. Yeah.
okay, I pulled it up. So I guess we need to approve the minutes. Is there a motion on the approval of the minutes?
Yeah, I move that we approve the July minutes from July 21st.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. I don't think we have a financial report this month. Is that correct, or do we?
That's correct. We'll have a report next month. Due to the county's ongoing fiscal year ending, they're going to do a report next month.
Okay, I look forward to an exciting report from Dave next month.
Yes, I'll convey that with bells and whistles.
All right, so new business, Roger, director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the EDA. Roger Johnson, Albemarle County Economic Development Director. A couple of things I wanted to make you all aware of. And I noticed that Matt Lawless was in the audience, and I will certainly invite him to make any comments as well. I think it's important for this EDA to know that there is a company that is looking to relocate to Central Virginia. And we have been working with the state and the VEDP, as well as the Central Virginia Partnership for Economic Development, to find appropriate sites. After some vetting and working hand in hand with Matt Lawless, the town administrator, we submitted a site for consideration in Scottsville. The company itself has been to visit, and as far as we know, we are still on the short list of potential locations for a new business. It would employ about 100 people. These would have career ladder jobs. It certainly would be good for the town of Scottsville. I would like to share more details, but as you can imagine, it wouldn't necessarily be appropriate to do so at this time, given that the project is still in process. I will be glad to answer any questions that you may have as directors, provided that you afford me the opportunity to say no comment. So questions, comments, concerns?
I just had one question, and that is, what can you, in very general terms, can you say what kind of business it is?
It would be probably most closely related to agriculture business. They produce a good here, and it gets dispensed throughout different communities.
And Roger, this is Dave. Did you say that they're currently in another location in Virginia, in the state, or?
No, sir, they're not. They have other locations throughout the United States, but this would be the first one, I believe, in Virginia for them.
I see.
And I don't know if Matt has his hand raised or not, if he wanted to make any general comments. He's welcome to. And then the second thing I wanted to make you all aware of is some time ago, pre-pandemic, we had spent some time vetting a concept called Venture Central, which is a collaboration between the city, the county, UVA, and now the Chamber of Commerce. That last time we addressed this issue, the Chamber was not part of the collaboration, but they have voted to become part of it, and they will be supporting this endeavor. The county plans to submit a Go Virginia grant application on September the 8th, if not a few days before. And in effect, we will be asking for $300,000 in grant funding from Go Virginia to finance the project called Venture Central to begin starting a hub for activity for innovation and entrepreneurship. Again, partners are UVA, city, county, and the chamber. Obviously, there would be partners throughout our community who would be joining in this, but the primary and steering committee is comprised of those folks. We hope that will be approved. If it is approved regionally, it would go to the state level in mid-October, and then in late October, we'll be notified whether or not we receive the grant. I will remind this particular group of directors that Go Virginia funded the plan itself. We asked them to fund a planning grant to write the innovation and entrepreneurship startup plan, and in the plan that they have proposed is what we will be moving forward with as a community. I'll pause here and see if you have any specific questions. Hearing none. Next, I will close the director's report. I think most of you were aware of the LFT Business Grant that we created, but by way of context, I'll share with you that the Board of Supervisors in July approved the use of CARES funding, which is the funding from the federal level that was provided to the state and then the state level provided it to local governments. The county received a little over $9.5 million. Some of those funds were used to reimburse the county for its COVID-related expenses. The remainder of those funds were allocated to different departments. Sorry, guys, I got some background noise. We have two great Danes. Welcome to the world of, yeah. So we were allocated $2.5 million. We set aside $1.2 million to give grants to local businesses in Albemarle County. Some details that may be of interest to you. We had 161 inquiries from businesses. That was from an application period of July 22nd through August the 3rd. I'm going to excuse myself for 1 second. Well, maybe not. We had a total of 78 businesses that completed applications. We were able to verify that these businesses met all the requirements. After this verification, there were 3 additional layers of vetting to include scoring of the applications by a diverse committee. This committee and others, 2 other teams, ultimately ensured there was no conflicts of interest. The differing committees agreed that 59 businesses would receive a grant for a total of $1.2 million in grant funding. The grant applicants will be notified later today if they have not begun their notification already. And then the transferring of these funds for these grants will start tomorrow. We're very excited that our Board of Supervisors is supporting economic development. This large commitment in funding is just one example of that. The county has received notification that we'll receive additional funding, and we fully expect that some of those funds will be allocated for further economic development advancements. We're very pleased with the support of the Board of Supervisors, and I'll pause here and answer any questions and also give Supervisor McKeel a chance to say any words if she so desires.
Roger?
Yes.
If I recall, there was a formal, maybe informal, but I think it was a formal target where you were looking for hospitality industry businesses in particular.
Yeah, that's hospitality and minority women and veteran-owned businesses.
Were those helpful in vetting, and did they end up making a difference?
Yes, sir. I don't have the exact figures in front of me right now, but I do know that we received around 60% of the applicants were either minority women or veteran-owned, and we also received a large number of hospitality and tourism-related activities. Without naming names, you'll probably find that there were quite a few things such as wineries, breweries, distilleries, as well as other tourism-related activities that will receive grants as a result of having a scoring matrix. So the answer to your question, Dave, is 100% we hit our targeted audience.
Thank you.
Roger, I don't have anything to add. I think you covered it very well. We're just really pleased that we could do this and that it's worked out this way. So, and we appreciate all the hard work from staff to get this done. Yeah.
Yeah, I was impressed by how quickly it went out. I mean, these are complicated things, and being able to put together a program, get it out there, and get things vetted as quickly as you guys did was very impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and when you say we did, let me also give thanks to Emily Kilroy, Siri Russell, Phyllis Savitas, Michael Culp, JT Newberry, Jennifer Schmack, and they were very instrumental in being a part of the task force and helping us create a process, as well as do all the behind the scenes legwork, including communications and other things that happen. Very much a team effort, and their contribution is much appreciated.
Roger, I have one more question. Of the 19 applicants who did not receive a grant, was there a common factor there? Was it need, or was it the applications weren't up to snuff, or?
No, it was they primarily didn't hit our target audience. I will say, if we were to have a second round of funding, which may be a possibility, those folks would likely receive grants. If you could imagine, you know, we're giving points if you're related to hospitality. So if you're a podiatrist or you're a a locally owned chain restaurant, you just don't score as well as some of the other folks that we were targeting.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, Mr. Chairman, that concludes our report.
All right. Well, I did have one sort of related to that. I guess it's really your first question, your first comment about potential business looking to relocate. It seems to me likely that we're going to be seeing more people as the fallout from the pandemic continues and as large localities have issues related to, office towers and things like that, and just in dealing with it. It wouldn't surprise me if we started getting more interest from businesses to come here just because we're smaller. Has there been some discussion about, I know we're always ready and willing to talk to anybody who's interested, but making a presentation or having information that's more tailored toward people who are thinking about moving as a result of the pandemic. Have you all thought about that?
Yes, we have. Don, I'm pleased to report that the Virginia Economic Development Partnership is currently having a marketing program where they're promoting Blacksburg, Charlottesville, and Roanoke as 3 small to medium-sized communities that can support large-scale technology companies. Albemarle County was rolled up into the marketing program with Charlottesville. We were able to provide some sites for them. So at the Commonwealth level, they're going out and targeting larger technology companies, which is, of course, one of our targeted industries, and asking that they consider our community as a place to relocate.
That's great.
The idea being that we have all the assets of a large community with a university and can provide the same level of support in terms of training of their employees without the cost of locating in Manhattan or Philadelphia or Silicon Valley.
Does everybody realize that noise that keeps interrupting Roger, that's Mr. Gentry asking to be back on the board?
Well, there was a question that came from the audience. I'll be happy to answer. It said, will the full list of LIFT recipients be released? And the answer to that question is absolutely yes. We're going to list all the recipients. We thought it may take us a day or two to notify all the applicants that both receive grants and are not receiving grants. And then once we notify all the applicants, we plan to post the entire list of recipients as well as the amounts, both sending out an announcement as well as posting that on the website.
Okay. Is there any unfinished business that we need to address that anyone's aware of?
Mr. Chairman, I have one other item that may be of interest.
Okay.
Jennifer, could you speak to the process that the clerk is using to fill the vacant seats?
Sure. So the positions, the vacant EDA positions are posted on the county's boards and commissions website. They were posted on August 26th, and they've got to remain posted for 30 days. And anyone interested can apply there. So the earliest we will see appointees will be at the September 16th Board of Supervisors meeting. So it looks like maybe October we will have new board members, possibly.
Thank you.
Do we know if there have been any applicants?
There has been some interest, but we certainly encourage applicants. So if anybody is interested or knows of anybody interested, please send them our way to apply.
So the question for the council for the EDA do you have to live within the magisterial district of the person in order to serve as an appointee for that magisterial district? Do Jim or Richie, do you guys know the answer to that off the top of your head?
Jim may know better than I do. You don't have to live in the county to be a member of the EDA. You'd have to live in either an Albemarle County or an adjoining jurisdiction.
Okay.
In terms of there is a technicality in terms of being appointed and how the supervisors appoint people from their magisterial district, which is an interesting twist. But in any event, the answer is no. You don't have to. You don't have to live in the county or the magisterial district.
Okay.
But I think in terms of tradition and history, the members have been populated by Albemarle County residents.
Right.
But we have had used a little flexibility at times on the magisterial district.
Right.
Not often, but occasionally.
Yeah.
So Rich, is that twist that you're talking about simply the tradition that if there's already one member from a given magisterial district, there won't be a second? Is that part of it, or?
No, I'd have to pull it up because it was somewhat nuanced, and I just don't have it in front of me right now because there was a question that was posed to me: do you have to live in Albemarle County in order to serve? And the quick answer was no, you don't have to live in Albemarle County. But then there was discussion in the code about supervisors and being in the magisterial district, and then also I think there's an at-large member. But I don't have an answer to that right now. I can get that and I can post it and share it.
I think I agree with Richie. I think it's Diantha will tell you it's a rule of reason. I mean, really, you got to have to get some applicants, and you've only got 2 applicants. That affects versus having 5 applicants.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If we know someone who would make a good director, is it appropriate to introduce that person to the supervisor from that district?
I guess I could respond to that. I think the short answer would be, I think supervisors always love to meet applicants. Having said that, I would encourage anyone to just go online, fill out the application form, because you all do want to get those spots filled as quickly as possible. You can reach out to the supervisor, it's great, but in the meantime, if someone is interested, they should fill out an application form. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. We're hoping that we'll get lots of applications. You know, you always, when you're advertising any position, whether it's for a boards and commission or for a job, you hope to have lots of applications and some depth and breadth to your pool, but we'll see what happens. I just don't know at this point.
I don't know if anybody on the board remembers Bonnie Smith when she was in Charlottesville. She was a commercial loan officer at the old Sovereign Bank. She was chairman of the Charlottesville Industrial Development Authority when I was working at the city. She got transferred down to Hampton, I believe, with C&F Bank, but she's been in the commercial lending business all of her career. She is now living at Old Trail. She's retired and she's living at Old Trail. She made great contributions to the CIDA. I wouldn't be surprised if she wouldn't be interested in serving. We lost all of our bankers, and it might be good to have somebody that's got that perspective.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, just speaking for myself, and I'm only the liaison, but I'm always looking at our boards and commissions through the lens of diversity, gender, race. So I'd love to have a little diversity on the board, if at all possible. You know, I just think that brings a really good discussion. So I don't know if that's legal for me to say that, but it's true.
I think that's a great goal.
Yep, that's a good point.
So I've pulled up the note in terms of residency and membership, and I'll just go over that briefly. So first, as I indicated, you don't have to be a resident. You don't have to be a resident of Albemarle County under Virginia code. You have to either be Albemarle County, or you have to be in an adjoining locality. And if you move from any of those localities to outside, then of course your office becomes vacant. So if you live in Nelson County and then you move to Richmond, you vacate your office. In terms of the county code, it requires that a member, one member must come from each of the county's magisterial districts, and then one must be at large. And that's where it gets interesting, because in order to reconcile the ordinance with the statute, you get into the discussion of what "from" means, because the ordinance says that you don't have to be a resident of the magisterial district; you have to be from it in some fashion. So if the only way to reconcile it is that you need to have some interest in that magisterial district. So I guess you can imagine if you live in Buckingham, but you have a business in Scottsville, then you could be not nominated from the Scottsville magisterial district. So there needs to be some nexus.
Okay.
I think practically speaking, though, the supervisors look to nominate someone from who live in their district, and that clearly would be the cleanest way to do it.
Okay. Well, that's helpful.
That's great, but I would say that just speaking from me, and it's very rarely I had to speak for the board, but it would seem like to me that our board would really be looking at someone who has a real strong connection to Albemarle County, right?
Oh, I agree, absolutely. There has to be some connection.
Yeah, but I think that would really be a focus of ours, is to make sure. Anyway, probably enough said for me.
I should, but are any of us at-large members?
I am. I'm the at-large member.
All right.
So, all right. Anything else? Any other matters anyone wants to bring up before we adjourn?
None here.
All right. I'll take that as none. So is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move that we adjourn.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
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 All right. Thanks, everybody. Our next meeting is September 15th. I guess the one thing I'll mention, of course, now that we've adjourned, is I guess if we've got somebody who's appointed, Jennifer, when did you say the earliest somebody could be potentially appointed?
September 16th.
Okay. So I guess we need to confirm that our 4 members can attend on the 15th. So maybe we can check in with Jennifer, because if they can't, then we're going to need to reschedule that meeting, and we may want to push it back to after that 16th meeting in case there's a possibility of somebody getting appointed then. So if our current 4 board members can check their calendars and let Jennifer know if we've got they've got a conflict, so we can make sure that we have a quorum.
Okay.
Everyone's
Yeah, was that the 15th, did you say?
Yes.
That's what our slide says.
Okay. I think I might have one. Hold on for a sec. I may be out of town. Let me just check real quick here. Yeah, I will be. I'm going to be out of town the 15th. Push comes to shove, I might be able to get a cellular connection and connect in from the person that's holding everybody up, but I will be out camping in the Eastern Shore. So it's a little dicey coverage out there.
Jennifer, you want to send maybe circulate some other dates for that next meeting I don't know if these Tuesdays work for everybody. We could maybe check the next 2 Tuesday afternoons and see what people's availability is and then pick a date.
Okay, I will send out a notification to everybody.
Okay.
All right. That sounds good. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Take care. Stay healthy, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.